So here's a story that largely flew under the radar. This is in Huffington Post. The Democratic National Committee this week quietly dropped language calling for an end to fossil fuel subsidies and tax breaks from its party platform, HuffPost has learned. On July 27th, officials added an amendment to the manager's mark, a ledger of party demands voted on as one omnibus package, stating, quote, Democrats support eliminating tax breaks and subsidies for fossil fuels and will fight to defend and extend tax incentives for energy efficiency and clean energy. The amendment was approved, but the statement, which reflects pledges presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden and his running mate Kamala Harris each made on the campaign trail, disappeared from the final draft of the party platform circulated Monday. In an emailed statement, a DNC spokesperson said the amendment was, quote, incorrectly included in the manager's mark and taken out after the error was discovered. Activists accused the DNC of retroactively removing the amendment from the final draft of the platform. Too perfect. This is just too perfect. So, again, people thought, the left thought, activists thought, the base thought that Democrats, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, were openly supporting eliminating tax breaks and subsidies for fossil fuel companies. And they pulled it out. Think about how sad that is because of how simple a demand that is. This isn't even saying, like, in theory, let's eliminate fossil fuels, which, by the way, at some point we have to do if we want to not destroy civilization, but I digress from that. This isn't that. This is, okay, hey, maybe we shouldn't do corporate welfare anymore. We shouldn't do corporate socialism that props up some of the most profitable companies on planet Earth. Why is tax money going to ExxonMobil? And then they turn around and say, oh, this is because we got to incentivize research and development, so give me billions of taxpayer dollars. By the way, it's not really for that. It's because of corruption. ExxonMobil gives politicians money, and then the politicians give them subsidies. So it's total corruption. But to just cut off the corporate welfare is a no-brainer. And they even went back on that. They went back on tax breaks for fossil fuel companies, and they went back on that. They also are going back on saying, let's do tax incentives for energy, green technology, green energy, non-fossil fuel forms of energy. Like, let's do tax incentives for that. No, that's gone now too. Can I please have a crumb, good sir? No! You'll get nothing and you'll like it. Trump is bad. Yes, sir, Trump is very bad. Please do all the things that he does. Thank you. I mean, how sad is this, man? It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Now, by the way, here, I'm going to go a step further. Of course. Even if they kept it in, I wouldn't have thought that Biden was actually going to follow through on this. Even if they had kept the language in, do I think Biden would have, I'm going to cut off all the subsidies to fossil fuel companies? No. Why? Because he's a status quo manager. That's what he is. He's a technocrat. He's a neoliberal corporate technocrat. Are you going to get the most minor of tweaks around the edges that might help some people? Sure. Of course. I mean, remember, Obama, Biden, we got Obamacare through them. That did protect people with pre-existing conditions. That did let you stay on your parents' health care until you're 26 years old. That did make it so that health insurance companies actually have to spend 80% of their money on health care. Previously, they weren't. They were spending like 50% or whatever it may be. So, yes, there are going to be little things here and there that they give you the crumbs. But don't kid yourself. It's crumbs. And even things like this, which appear to be very basic, very straightforward, very simple, any reasonable person would agree with this if you're looking at it objectively, he's going back on it. He's going back on it. And again, even if he kept the language in, he wouldn't have followed through with it anyway. He's going to ignore so much of any platform that he's nominally supposed to be in favor of, whether it's stuff on his website or stuff in the Unity Commission that they did and their findings and their recommendations. He's going to ignore all that stuff. But it's just so funny when now they even went that extra step to rub it in and be like, yeah, we're just going to yank that. Just don't. No biggie. Because really, they're going to turn around, puff their chest out and be like, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything. You're not going to do anything. because they got you by the balls, and they know they got you by the balls. And that's why, it's pathetic when you see people who are on the left attacking other lefties and yelling at them to fall in line. Because really, all of that energy should be directed at the politicians you better make more concessions, real concessions, that people will believe. Because if you're actually forcing the politicians to do some more things that the left would want, that's how you're going to get more lefties on board. You're never going to shame all the lefties into falling in line. It's not going to happen. Because we've been through it before. We've seen the game unfold. We know how it works. It's just that's not a tactic that actually works. You're never going to shame people to fall in line. You have a much better chance if all of that energy was directed at Biden to do some concessions that are really tangible, which is why I was so mad at Bernie for, dropping out and endorsing Biden without getting any executive orders from him in the first 100 days, which I think was the model that would have been the easiest and the best to then turn around to the left and say, look at what you're leaving on the table. In theory, you should have really been able to get legalizing marijuana from him, for sure. And you could do that through executive order. You just take it off the scheduled substances list or reduce the scheduling. He could have gotten that. He could have gotten a guarantee in the first 100 days to legalize marijuana, but he would have had to fight for it, and he would have been willing to walk away, and he's not going to do that. He has no leverage now. The left has no leverage, and they're reminding you have no leverage now. This is them rubbing it in. Yeah, so you guys fucked up. You were playing checkers. We were playing chess. Tell me how my ass tastes. I'm not going to do this. And I'm not even going to keep it in the platform and not do it. I'm going to pull it out of the platform and further not do it. Please, guys, invite 17 more Republicans to speak at the Democratic National Convention. They're almost at the point where they maybe already have more time allotted for actual Republicans than the left. So fly that flag high, man. Rep it, because we know what you are. We see it.